Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the NoFuddZone. This is just where I get together and do one of my regular chats, but instead of doing it alone, I do it with a few of our regular viewers. Today we got Soulless Ginger, Scorch, and Welper with us. Say hello.
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 And we will get started with the chat here. First, we're going to answer a few questions coming in here. Once we do that, we'll see if anybody on the panel has any topics they want to cover. The first question we got in here today was Gerald Cagney said, "Hi, Grandpa, can I have your Steyr AUG?" No, I'm not your grandpa, for one. I don't think I'm old enough to be your grandpa, but
You ain't your real dad.
Yeah, and he's not. I'm not his real dad or his grandpa. And you can't have my AUG. I like my AUG. It's the only.
I miss those old videos you used to do, those antique videos with Gary and all that. Those are good old times.
Well, that's back when before the gun community turned into a bunch of hateful old pricks and have fun. And then, and now, even if you do some satire, they like some comedy videos, but the guys that get away with the comedy videos now are the big doofy, lowest denominator comedy. And it's usually based on discrimination or hate. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Edgar Cortez chimed in and said, Pete Hegseth was quoted in the news as having said, "Killed them all," in regard to survivors of the boat bombings. Some senators are expressing concerns, thoughts. Well, I mean, he said, "Killed them all," like all the guys in the boats, or they blew up a boat, because he says survivors of. So was it like?
Wasn't there a story that they did a second strike on one of the boats that they had already hit to take out the survivors? I don't know whether that's true.
If they did that, that is a war crime.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a failure to give quarter to someone who can no longer fight. And plus, these people can't fight anyway. They're not going to be fighting warships in a speedboat. So, yeah, if they actually firing on the boats themselves is probably a crime. Although we're not subject to that crime, the ICC and everything. So Pete Hegseth and him will never be charged. However, there might be military court martials. But he's not military. He hasn't been military, so he's not subject to that. But if they fired on a boat and there were survivors, I'm assuming in the water, and they fired on them, yeah, that is a war crime.
Aren't the people on the drug boats carrying guns because they have drugs?
They might, but they ain't going to be a threat to a warship.
Because, I mean, they carry guns to fight off piracy and sometimes the Coast Guard.
Still, they're not going to be a threat to a warship. So, and they're haven't been convicted of any crimes. So I'm not sure why they're blowing them up. But that's a different question. If they blew up one of the boats, and I'm assuming some guys went into the water, and then they had orders to kill all of them, well, that would seem like you want that done because you don't want to have to actually prove they committed a crime. Because remember, the one guy that survived, they immediately deported him to like Venezuela or something, so that they would just lock him up in a prison, so they didn't have to take him through the court system. Because if it turned out he was a fisherman or anything else, they would have been fried for crimes. So it seems like they're trying to avoid that. But even so, even if that's not the case, even if they are drug runners, if you blow up the boat and some of them go into the water, well, some guy treading water is not a danger, even if he's got a gun. And if you say kill them, well, that's a definite violation that's a definite war crime.
Okay, so
that's
who's going to hold them?
That's called failure to give quarter.
Okay, who's going to hold them accountable? The UN?
Nobody, because like I said, we don't. Trump and them, they don't pay any attention to international law. They don't care. They know that they're never going to get charged. They will just, like say, if they get charged with a war crime tomorrow, well, they'll just never go to any of the countries where they could possibly be picked up. Yeah, so they're not worried about it. However, that doesn't mean that if war crime charges are filed, that doesn't mean every soldier on that boat won't be subject to military discipline. So that's the thing I worry the most about, is soldiers being subjected to military discipline, court martials, jail time, everything, over stuff that they were just following orders. And nowadays they're being told by the people in power, you follow every order from the president's legal. There's no such thing as an illegal order from the president.
Okay. I wouldn't want to spend my life in Leavenworth following a so-called legal order when I know it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but you look at all the torture that went on at Gitmo, and how many of those service members were never held accountable.
Actually, lots of service members were held accountable, just nobody that was actually responsible for it. There were people court-martialed, thrown out of the military, people even did jail time. Just none of the people in power that would be bothered to be covered in the news. Because remember, what was her name? The female officer, the female soldier?
Lindy England.
Yeah. Because of that investigation, because after she, fingered some people, there were multiple trials because of that.
Yeah, she walked the prisoners around naked with leashes like they were dogs and all that degrading stuff.
So you just don't hear about the corporal that got court-martialed or got busted down to private, or the sergeant that got busted down to corporal, or any of that stuff, because nobody cares about that. And the people that were actually making the orders, they didn't get any trouble.
No, the ones that need to be held accountable don't.
How does this actually fall on Hegseth, since he's
if he gave the order, to kill the survivors, that would be on him.
Does he actually give orders?
Oh yes, he's the main honcho. So
Secretary of the Department of War.
So he's the Secretary of War now. He used to be the Secretary of Defense. Now it's the Secretary of War. So he would be the direct responsible. The only person above him would be the president.
And then he works with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, right?
The Joint Chiefs, yeah. But they work technically under him. He is the head honcho, the civilian appointee that's never been in the military. Usually the civilian appointees that have never been in the military, they defer to the Joint Chiefs. They don't do that now. The fact, if you disagree with them, they fire you. So that's not a really good situation when the people who are there because they have experience and skill are silenced through fear and intimidation. That's not a good thing.
Okay, so the generals and the admirals are right underneath Pete Hegseth. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it depends on what level they're at.
But the top, like the 09s, 010s, yeah. But
there's all kinds of people like that. There's all kinds of, you got the Joint Chiefs, and then you got like the sergeant majors of the Army, and the ranking officer of the Marines. So there's all kinds of high ups, but Pete Hegseth is the top. And he's totally unqualified for it, but he's there. I thought he was ex-military. Apparently he's not even ex-military. Can anyone verify that?
I thought he was too.
I thought he was ex-military. I saw something the other day said he was not ex-military.
Was he at least in the National Guard?
I don't know. Man. That's something Welper should look up. What's Pete Hegseth's military career? Because I always assumed he was like a Navy SEAL turned, one of those type guys, like operator turned newsman. But,
I didn't think he was SEAL, but I thought he was some kind of special force, like Green Beret or Ranger.
Here they're saying he was an infantry officer in the Army National Guard who had completed deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan and also served at Gitmo. He'd received several awards, 2 Bronze Stars, and held various staff positions.
See, I thought he was an operator turned
turncoat.
No, turned what do you call him? Broadcaster. Yeah.
Basically, because he was in a combat zone or 2 or 3, that gave him the.
What was his MOS again?
It said infantry officer in the Army National Guard.
Oh, infantry officer in the Army National. So in other words, he probably never did much of anything. Just like I didn't. I was in combat zones. I mean, I get the benefit of being in them, but I never did anything.
And he's a graduate from Princeton, so.
Yeah. I mean, he's a silver spoon guy who went in the military to probably form a career later. Let's see.
What it sounds like.
Yeah, they said that he was a platoon leader and counterinsurgency instructor also.
Counterinsurgency instructor. I don't even know what that is. Mad Dog V702 chimed in and says, is reloading your own ammo still worth it? It's never been worth it to me. By the time you pay for ammo stuff, you don't save enough for it to be worth my time. But
And if you don't load it precisely, you can have a horrible accident, right?
Yeah, see, that's one of the reasons I don't do it, because I know the way my attention span goes. I would end up with, if I loaded 1,000 rounds, well, 800 of them would be fine. 100 of them would probably not go off at all. And 100 of them would be time bombs because I put too much in some and too little in others. And so because I would be like, did I load those ones? So I better put more power in. You know, so I don't trust myself to pay close enough attention to do something that precise.
And it requires a lot of patience and time too, because it's very time consuming.
Yeah, and it's just not worth it to me. It's like, oh, you could save, even if someone tell me you could save $2,000 this year with the ammo you buy by reloading. Well, I'd be like, well, yeah, but I've saved $2,000. How much of my time would that take? Well, I value my time, so there's a lot of it gone right there. And plus, you're saying this is over a year. You know, like what, $150 a month? Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. So,
and as far as I know, isn't it true that reloaded ammo doesn't keep as well if it isn't used within a certain amount of time as regular ammo?
I don't know. I don't know if it's not crimped as well, or if the powder's different, or I don't know. I don't reload. Somebody that reloads would have to answer that question.
I've always wanted to get into reloading, especially get, a couple of those big old Dillon setups where you basically just load it and it does it itself. That to me, negate the time consuming part, because you can basically set it and forget it.
Caden worked for Minuteman. Caden worked for Minuteman Ammo. I mean, he loaded a lot of their ammo. He worked for them. So he can do it, but I just have never gotten that interested in it. And I have thought about wanting to reload, but the only thing I've ever said I really, really want to reload is shotgun. I want to reload shotgun shells. I want to buy materials to load shotgun shells and do that. But that's about all.
You could put anything in a shotgun shell.
Yeah. And if you saw The Road, remember that movie, The Road? At the end, the guy that takes the boy, he's got all the self-loaded shotgun shells. They kind of show an up close of them where he's sealed them all, and he's got a bandolier full of shotgun shells where everybody else is out of ammo. So he's reloading the shotgun shells.
Yeah.
So that made me think I need to do that.
I think that boils down to that question that Mad Dog answered is it's up to you, because do you have the time to do it? Do you have the financial means to do it? Because it's not cheap to get into, especially these days. The machines that you have to get, not only the primers, the powder, the casings. I mean, nothing's cheap anymore. So can you do it? If so, then it's worth it to you.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be worth it to me. Let's see. I don't know where it was just now, but David Ford chimed in here and says, I'm jumping on the Colt Python 3-inch in 38 Super that has a comparable 9mm moon clip. There is no such thing. I don't think there's a 3-inch Python in 9mm. Why would they? I mean, I guess I know why they could, but I wouldn't see any point in it. Definitely not in 38 Super.
Right.
It's like, why would you want to do that? It's like people just like to irritate the shit out of me for some reason. I don't know why I never did anything to them, but they want to irritate the shit out of me. And then this was the same person over here asking a different question about the same thing. Let's see. I think
Ghost Shadow says that properly reloaded ammo lasts just as long as factory ammo.
Yeah, I would not know why it wouldn't, but like I said, I don't know. So let's see here. Let me go see where we're at over here on the questions. We haven't got much coming in on the live chat, so let's see if we got anything coming over here. I don't see any emails. I do want to take a second real quick to quickly read the name of people that have donated today to Toy Guns for Tots, since today is the next to the last day. And it's been a good day. It's been, no big, huge donations, but a lot of people donating, which is, I think, better. I'd much rather see 5 people donate $100 or $50 than I would see one donate $250 or $500. I'd rather see it spread out. Let's see here. All right, we got Brian Smith, Ryan McFarland. Oh, wait a second, I'm on the wrong list. Brian Smith, Ryan McFarland, Ben Coors, Oliver Banks, Brian Paskovich, Derek Moritz, Stephen Hamilton, Edgar Cortez, Sean Bruce, Michael Rojana, Floyd Austin, Angus Shepard Jr., William Curlew, Randy Roberts, Gerald Cagney, Christopher Schaff, Dale Rickety, Art Maddox, Cannonville Graphics, Mike Stuckey, Christopher Kassab. I like that we're seeing some names I ain't seen in a while here. Mike White, Josh Ellefson, and that's it for today. So thanks to them. And I do want to read the names of the people that are actually on the list for the grip drawing later tonight, in case someone's supposed to be on there that isn't yet. John Heasley, Lee Walker, Greg Holland, Adam Grassnickel, Don Google, Paul Bidenbach, Tim Muller, Joel Bailey, Ray Lauterbach, Cannonville Graphics, William Curlew, Michael Rojana, Derek Moritz, Ben Kors, and Brian Smith. So thanks to them. And I do want to read real quick people who have bought merchandise so that I don't have to try to save it for tomorrow. We got Aaron Smith. They're the one that did a big order that they've been holding on to. So thanks to them for supporting mostly our regular programs, but it does go to Toy Guns for Tots now because everything does right now. Jason Mayberry, who bought an ornament, supporting Toy Guns for Tots. Larry Minshew, who's one of the people that actually figured out he bought 4 of the gift ornaments so that he can give out to people. First person to figure that out, really. And then Jeff Wilsey also bought multiple ornaments. So thanks to them for supporting Toy Guns for Tots. We got one more person here, or 2 more people. Oliver Banks bought a hat and a shirt, supported our regular programs. So thanks to him. We'll support Toy Guns for Tots right now. It doesn't support our regular programs right now. It supports Toy Guns for Tots. And then we got someone bought a gift mug and ornament. So that was Gabriel Moldovan. So thanks to all of them for supporting Toy Guns for Tots, because every purchase right now supports Toy Guns for Tots. Now let's go over here and see if we got any questions coming in.
I showed those Yosemite Sam grips to my wife, and she's not a big gun person, and she's definitely not, the whole customization of firearms. She's not big into that stuff. But when she saw those Yosemite Sams, she's like, "Oh, those are badass. I wish I could have them."
Yep.
Except I would want Yosemite Sam with his 6-shooter shooting up in there. She's always loved Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, I like Yosemite Sam too. I've got a lot of Yosemite Sam art in the house. I got some Yosemite Sam collectibles,
and they look really good on the red grips too.
Yeah, so they do look great on the red. That's why I was glad I did them on the red. But we'll be giving those away tonight. The next one will be Bigfoot grips. There'll be Bigfoot on Cocobolo high power grips. Yeah. Nice. Then I'm going to do some Bigfoot 1911 grips. Let's see here, because I got a bunch of them damn Bigfoot pins now. Let's see. Did we get all the questions over here? No, we got one more coming in. Gerald Cagney says, "See, Grandpa, I donated. You have dementia is why you can't remember nothing. I don't have dementia, and I can remember just fine. I remember just fine." Let's see who. Did I put him on the list here? Does he have? We got Dwayne White, if that is his real name, just donated and got entries into the grip drawing. So I want to put him on the list there so that I don't have to create a new list at the end of the chat tonight.
He just confirmed it, Dwayne White. He just said your name.
Yep. Does anybody on the panel got any topics they want to cover tonight?
Yep. I would like to discuss Ricky's Law in Washington State. You're probably familiar with that, Yankee. That allows for involuntary commitment of individuals with severe substance abuse disorders if they're a danger to themselves or others. The reason I mention this is because I have friends in Seattle that say that Ricky's Law is being underutilized for a lot of the vagrant drug addicted population. I wonder if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, yeah, those laws those laws are just made so people feel good.
Oh.
They don't really ever exercise them, because here's the thing: who's paying for all those involuntary commitments?
The taxpayers. Right?
Yeah, but there's not enough money in the system to do that. And the tax money that's supposedly going to those systems isn't really, because it comes in, we pass Ricky's law and we raise taxes and we bring in all this money, but then the politicians go, you know what, we're short over here and we're short over there, so that money goes to that. It's like all the lottery money that was supposed to be like, we'll never need to raise taxes again because we'll be bringing in so much from lottery money. Where does that money go?
It's all cannon fodder.
Yeah. And so it's just interesting that, I guess there was this perception that they had that, well, now that Ricky's laws, in effect, these people can be carted off to get rehab, but that isn't happening.
To me, it's just that they're placating people. They're just like, hey, see, we're doing this, we're doing that, but behind the scenes, they're like, we don't care. We just passed all this nonsensical bullshit just to appease the people.
It's like when they pass gun laws that they know won't do anything. It's just
exactly
feel good bullshit. It's TSA mentality. It's like the TSA's never stopped a single thing from ever happening bad, but people have to see it to make them feel good. It's the same thing with these laws. They don't intend to use them. They know there's no way to use them. They know even if they could raise the money through the taxes that would actually pay, they don't raise enough to would even come close to doing it. And then they use that money for other things, because there's not a lot of money in mental health care, not even for healthcare professionals. That's why you don't see that's why a lot of hospitals close down their mental health wings. That's why a lot of hospitals close down their rehab wings, because there's just not enough money in it. You're not billing insurance a ton of money or any of this stuff, because maybe some light pharmaceuticals, but even then you got to have doctors and psychiatrists prescribing that. They usually just hire social workers and psychologists like me, and we can't prescribe medications. So we're not even funding the pharmaceutical industry. So it doesn't make anybody any money treating people that have mental illness or addiction issues. They've tried many different ways to profit off that model, and you just can't. So they don't care to enforce it or do anything about it.
Ultimately, the people that it truly affects and hurts is the law-abiding citizens, because it's the gun laws that hurt the law-abiding citizens. When you pass these Ricky laws or whatever it was called, it takes out the money out of our pockets because they're raising taxes to pay for them. I mean, it just eventually just hurts us.
Which would be worth it if they were actually doing what they're saying they're doing with the mental health laws, but they're not, and they don't. No. And if there was a way right now for the 1%ers to be getting rich off of putting people into mental health care, you'd be seeing people put into mental health care all the time. Mm-hmm. But there's just no profit in it, so they don't bother with it.
There's also an unfairness involved in terms of people in, say, Montana and Idaho, these little municipalities that put people on buses and send them to cities like Seattle and Portland. So then
because they don't have any systems there.
Yeah, but it's also done cynically. They're like, well, if you want to use drugs, and we'll send you there, where they don't care. And that's an exaggeration that they don't care, but
that's sometimes the case. It depends on if you got a real asshole mayor. But a lot of the times it's because, hey, we don't have any services here at all. We barely have a regular hospital, and that's a 2-hour drive. We definitely don't have mental health services. So if you want to even have a chance of getting on any type of public service or getting any kind of help, you're going to have to go somewhere where these systems exist.
Mm-hmm.
So
I thought they were busing them there primarily because they didn't want to keep rearresting them and using their own resources to deal with it.
Well, that's the cynical version of it. But a lot of times people, if you've actually got a healthcare worker, if you've got mental health professionals, maybe just 1 or 2 social workers, a lot of times, they'll be like, well, I cannot help them here. There's no resources here. Mm-hmm. If they were in Seattle, I know this person in Seattle who will get them on this program. So I will use what little funds we have to put them on a Greyhound to Seattle. So that is probably what happens more often. And nowadays, you also see the political theater of let's just ship people here or ship people there, but that's usually illegals and stuff.
I have a question kind of along the lines of what we're discussing. I guess this would be primarily for like the bigger cities in the States. Would it be beneficial to train officers specifically for, mental health crisis? Like, you got the ones that are specifically trained to do like DUI stops, because not all cops can do that. Would it be beneficial?
No, you're not going to learn 6 years of college in your training as a police officer. And even to just do my job, that takes a 6-year degree, the job I used to do. And I'm not high level. So no, you're not going to be able to train them for that. And two, the basis of their training, if they actually still train cops the way they used to, would actually be the best thing. It would be de-escalation and then calling in an expert. But they don't do de-escalation anymore.
No, God, no.
They do shock and awe, control, and dominate. And that doesn't work in mental health cases.
Yeah.
Because
now,
they don't register the threat the same as a normal person would.
Yeah, many departments do have what they call a mental health response team, MHRT, but who knows how much of the department.
They don't know what they're doing, and they also do the same thing. They think, I'm going to go in there and manhandle me some crazy people. Let's see, where are we at? How far up can I go here? Why would anyone tell people they are a Pontiac fan? I said the same thing when I read that, but then I was kind of like, there's several Pontiacs I've liked. I liked the little Fieros back in the day when they did the second generation and beefed up the power a little bit. Too bad they didn't beef up the suspension, but I liked those. Who didn't like a Pontiac Trans Am back?
Yeah, Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah,
exactly.
The Firebirds, even some of the Firebirds in the 80s were damn nice cars.
Yeah.
The GTs, I had a Bonneville. It was a nice car, big luxurious Pontiac.
Yeah.
So I loved that. I had the big white jelly bean looking Bonneville, kind of looked like a fancy Ford Taurus. I loved that car. It was a great car.
Yeah. And then there was, Kit from Knight Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pontiacs had their place.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it was the middle ground. Like every manufacturer used to have, Ford, Lincoln, Ford, Mercury, Lincoln. Ford was the affordable. Mercury was a little sportier.
Yep.
Lincoln was more luxurious. It used to be the same thing with, all the GM products and all the Mopar products.
And the Chrysler.
They phased out a lot of the middle ground stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think what killed companies like Mercury and Pontiac specifically is when manufacturers got away from sedans and hatchbacks, because that's usually what you took, made your money off of as a Pontiac. You got your sports car. You took the sports car that was the sports car of the line, or you took the moderate level of the bottom level car and you souped it up and you made it fancier and faster and you put a wing on it and all this other stuff. So, and that was the moderate line. So you just don't see that anymore when they got away from, because find a sedan nowadays. It's so hard to find a decent sedan, or a coupe, as they like to call them in Europe, the coupes. Yeah. When I was a kid, coupes were king. And now everybody wanted a coupe. Coupe was the way to go on pretty much everything. But nowadays, find a good coupe.
You of course remember the station wagon era that we went through in this country.
Oh God, yes, I hate it.
You didn't like those?
I remember the station wagons.
Oh man, and my family had an LTD, the Ford LTD.
The Ford LTD, yeah. My grandmother liked the LTD cars, the limited. No one in my immediate family had a station wagon, but my uncle had one, and occasionally I'd ride in their station wagon, and I always, was in the back. I loved the rear-facing seat. And a friend of mine growing up, they had what we called the Blue Whale. It was a big old blue station wagon. But I've never owned one myself. I kind of wanted one. Remember the Magnum? the Dodge Magnum. It's like
yes.
It's like a Charger, but it's a station wagon.
Yeah, there's actually one of the animal groups that I volunteer my time at. There's one that sits in the parking lot. It's a like a military green one.
Yeah, I keep wondering why they don't bring that back, because that was nice, and they didn't do it for very many years, and it was actually a hot station wagon.
No, it was nice. That's a modern one I would like.
Yeah, and then Ford tried it with that hearse they let out. What was that thing called? What was that thing called? It looked like a fucking hearse.
I'm trying to think of what you're talking about.
The station wagon SUV combo they had not too long ago. The Ford
Edge.
No, not the Edge. Edge was more their like compact SUV.
Yeah, and those Ford Edges, they suck. They're horrible. They're uncomfortable.
Yeah, what was that fucker thing? The Flex. Was it the Flex? Is that right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Those things look like station wagon, but I still like them. I always thought if they would have souped one of those up, done an ST model of it, I don't know if they ever did, but that would have been cool. But they didn't sell well. I remember sitting in the Ford dealership buying a Mustang, and they had a Flex on the showroom floor, and I said, I like those. If they would put the upgraded engine and suspension in these, I wouldn't mind one of those. And he's like, those don't sell well. He's like, who likes those? And he leans across the desk and he whispered, black people.
Oh man.
I'm like, why do black people like them? He's like, I don't know, they just love them. He wasn't trying to be racist. He just didn't want to hear one to say he was black people, but he was like, black people love them. Everyone we've sold been to a black person. And I go, I don't know, maybe they got bigger families. You think the Mexicans would love it, but I remember that very clearly when he leaned across that desk and whispered, black people. And I was like, I don't understand that connection. But
it's like, who's buying FUBU athletic sneakers? And say the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, who buys $300 tracksuits? Yeah, black people.
Wasn't the electric Mustang, wasn't that a kind of a wagon shape?
Well, it is. It's like an SUV. It's not really anything to do with a Mustang. And at first, I didn't like the fact they put the Mustang name on it. But then I was kind of like, after we bought one, I'm kind of glad they did, because instead of having the Ford oval on everything, it had the horse on everything. So I'm like, well, it looks better with the horse on it instead of the blue oval on the steering wheel and stuff. It was a nice car. It was a fast car. It handled pretty good for what it was. It was heavy, but I mean, it was fast. It'd take off like a fucking rocket. I think it'd do 0 to 60 in like 3.6. So it was a really nice car, but just didn't have any need for an electric car anymore. When you don't leave your house. I mean, the car I've got now, the Mustang that I've had for like 7 months now, I did a big trip to go down and get Caden's Mustang. So I set like 600 miles on it in one day. And now I've got a total of like 1,500 miles on it after 7 months. So I don't go very far. Let's see here. We got any questions coming in? Did anybody else have any topics they want to talk about? Nope, that was it.
I think Welper wanted to discuss the incident that happened at USAA, right? With the P320.
I mean, we can. I was looking back at that. I know I was talking to you, Scorch, the other night about it. And technically, like I said, with the way the guy seemed to be putting pressure on that gun, it could have pulled the trigger, but it may have also done the little slide pinch thing. And I know we all made fun of that. But technically, it would have done that.
You're talking about the one that was outside the guardhouse, right?
Yeah, USAA in Texas somewhere.
It was down in San Antonio.
I
saw the video. It looked like he was he caused it because he was fucking with his belt and
his gun,
the gun. So,
but it's never once do you see it where their hands not on. It's always like he wasn't even touching it, and you see the video, and it's like he's got his fucking hands right on it. When it goes off,
but did anyone see his finger go on the trigger?
It doesn't matter. You can feel
not with that grainy picture. No,
if you're forcing your gun too far into your holster or wiggling it side to side or putting pressure on
it, tap the base plate. That's enough to cause that to fire.
He didn't just tap the base plate.
I saw his hand come down on it, but I didn't see his
he didn't
hand
just
go
tap
into
the
the holster.
faceplate. That's not what happened. That's a misrepresentation of that video.
Okay, well, it's not clear.
I mean,
enough.
I don't think he was doing anything untowards with the gun.
No, but if
he wasn't like massively hitting it.
If you have a holster that ain't the proper holster for that gun, I mean, that gun's got to have the perfect holster. It can't have any movement, side to side, up or down, backwards, or yaw or anything. And you got to keep your fucking hands off of it, because there ain't a lot of room for error with that gun.
Well, this P320 is an albatross around Sig's neck. Let's be honest. There's been times I'd say, why not just start over or scrap it all together?
I wonder if it really has been an albatross for him, because I don't know what the sales are like of it. I haven't seen gun shops stop carrying them or anything. Let's see here. I wonder if there's any information we could find on.
No,
did you watch the BH Spring Solutions video, Yankee?
I haven't. No.
He said he mentioned the number 4 million. So normally people have been saying 3 million, but for some reason he upped it to 4 million. So I don't know.
Well, the only thing I can find here is one article, and that's linked through 6 hours. Okay, here's one. This is from Gunbroker. Hold on, it's doing the verification. The 3 biggest selling guns in the United States for the year 2025 and 2024. Well, 2025, it's SIG P365, Glock 19, SIG P320. Those are the top 3 selling guns. Last year, it was SIG P320, Glock 19, SIG P365. So it's still in the top 3, and we've been having this trouble going on for years now that people have been trying to make something out of it, and it looks like they're still consistently the number 1 selling gun of its type.
So the fear mongering is not having any noticeable effect on sales.
No, it doesn't seem to be, and I don't think most people fall for it, because you only got to be someone who's really into the internet and guns to even know anything about it, because most people just don't care.
No, I can say a lot of police departments apparently are getting rid of them, because I see them hitting gun stores online, like AIM. They've had a bunch of them.
Account for a lot of their sales, though. So
yeah, here our local PDs all carry Glock 19s.
Yeah, our local, I think, carries Glock. I think they still carry the P320s. I don't know if it's Battleground or Hazeldale, but they still carry them.
I see a mixture of Glocks and M&Ps with the cops that I noticed around my area.
Yeah. Now, a lot of them like the M&Ps around here because they have manual safety on the M&Ps.
Yeah.
So they'll go with the M&P because of the manual safety. Because they're like, we know our cops are stupid. We don't want them shooting themselves. Let's see, where are we at here? Trying to see if we got any questions coming in over here. I just donated through PayPal. Can you confirm? Yes. Mad Dog LV 702 says, I entered the grip drawing, didn't hear my name. Well, I'll read the names again. Tell me if you hear your name. John Heasley, Lee Walker, Greg Holan, Adam Grassnickel, Don Google, Paul Bidenbach. Someone's got air noise, a lot of air noise on their mic. Tim Muller, Joel Bailey, Ray Lauterbach, Cannonville Graphics, William Curlew, Michael Rojana, Derek Moritz, Ben Coors, Brian Smith, Dwayne White. Did you hear your name? Because I don't know which name goes with fucking Mad Dog.
Right. My local gun store actually had 3 different P320s for sale. 2 of them were 40s and one was a 9mm. And one of the 40s was actually a P250 slide on a 320 frame.
My shop, when I was just there today, they have what they usually have, just a few of them. And they're usually like the fancier ones tend to be the bigger sellers there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The ones with the cut up slides and the aftermarket grips and all this other stuff. Yeah. And I did get to play with a Gen V Glock today.
That's what I was just about to ask you.
And I'm like, it's still a fucking Glock. It looks like Glock, feels like Glock, acts like a Glock. If anything, the trigger might be a tiny bit more consistent and cleaner. But I had to take like an old one and a new one and just do the like, like 10 times before I'm like, yeah, the new one, if anything, it's either exactly the same or slightly more consistent and cleaner. So I don't understand why people are bitching about the Gen Vs.
Did you take it apart and look at the innards?
Yeah. And I think it's mostly just people, they think that Glock bowed down to California, and that's why they're going to say this gun sucks, even though they don't understand anything about what changed in it or if anything's different or not. And I don't think they did bow to California because nothing they did makes it California legal still.
But I thought they said that no Glocks could come back into California unless they were changed. Hence why the model came out.
Well, the law itself doesn't say just Glocks. It says Glocks that use a cruciform trigger bar or any other gun that uses the same cruciform trigger bar that can be converted to fully automatic with little effort or common tools. Oop, did I just lose someone, or did I pan out there? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it's already proven that you can convert the Gen V to use the Glock switch with common tools.
Yeah, that happened like a week, not even a week after they were released.
So it doesn't make it legal in California. It still violates that law. Now, I think these were changes they were already going to make because they were weaknesses in their system. It was a design flaw that allowed that to happen, being loose and sloppy and not caring about it. So I think they'd already planned on fixing that to where they could at least say, hey, you can't make it fully automatic unless you modify it. Because before you didn't have to modify it to make it fully automatic. You could make it fully automatic with a toothpick, using the same principle as that. Now you couldn't make it to where you could cock it because it wouldn't stay cocked. So you'd have to cock it, then stick the toothpick in there. But I don't think they actually bowed to California at all. I think that was just a misconception and bad timing. And I don't love Glock. I got no reason to defend Glock. I just don't see that it's actual true. He says his name is Ryan McFarland. Let me see.
I heard you say his name, but I don't know if it was on the grip drawing.
I don't think he's on the grip drawing. Let me see. I bet he didn't use the right link. Let me check and see.
I heard you say McFarland earlier because it always makes me think of what's his face, the toy maker.
Yeah, like the illustrator and makes the action figures and
that in the actor / voice actor McFarlane too.
Oh, Seth MacFarlane.
There you go.
Todd McFarlane's the Spawn guy, right?
Oh yeah, that's the Spawn guy. Makes the action figure. They got the action figures on his characters and stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, a while back, a buddy of Matt's, he's actually on Matt's Geek Chat all the time, made me a Ghost Rider 3D model bike. Man, that sucker's awesome. I mean, I'm a geek myself. I don't know how many people know that, but I actually collect a lot of action figures and whatnot.
Where did I put his? Oh, I wrote your name on the wrong list. That's why, because I had switched over lists when I put your thing up there, and I put you for some reason. I wrote your grip entries on my knife winners list, so I got to take that off there and put it over here. There we go. How did I do that? I must have switched over to the other list. Okay, there, you're on there now. I took you off the knife winners list and put you over where you belong.
He got kicked out. Could you let him back in?
Who?
Scorch.
Oh, how did he get kicked out? Add the stage there. Who kicked you out? Was it Welper?
Yeah, it's all my fault.
Shame on you, Welper.
who here? Then we got Hunter Barker also just got an entry. Let me put him on the right list. There we go.
Practical bacon.
I knew I added up Ryan McFarland's how many, because he did a weird amount, so I had to add up how many entries he had. I knew I wrote it down. I just wrote it on the wrong note over here because I'm on my notes programs where I make my lists. Hunter Barker. Let's put him on there because we need to do the drawing now. It is time. So anybody else that wasn't on the list, let me read it one more time. John Heasley, Lee Walker, Greg Holland, Adam Grassnickel, Don Google, Paul Bidenbach, Tim Moeller, Joel Bailey, Ray Lauterbach, Cannonville Graphics, William Curlew, Michael Rogina, Derek Moritz, Ben Coors, Brian Smith, Dwayne White, Ryan McFarland, and Hunter Barker. Those are the people on the list for tonight. And that's telling me my Mustang is ready, scheduled. All right. So that's the people that are on the list. Let's see if we got any. Yes, but is that all sales or just new sales? Well, those would be new sales. Those are sales this year. He's talking about the P320 sales. That's their number one selling gun that year. That's in that list. They list their number one selling guns of the year. So those are, and I don't know if they track private sales or just from, and even most everything on Gunbroker is dealers selling anyway. The days of it being private sellers on there is over. It's almost all dealers now. And I don't think they count those in the numbers. Anything that's used, I don't think counts as number one selling on their new guns list. So at least it did used to. Let me see if it says. Best-selling new semi-automatic pistol. So I guess that's just as new sales. All right, let's go back to the link here so I can actually draw a name. I got to add up all these over here. You guys feel free. If you got anything to talk while I add these up.
Good luck to the grip drawer winners or contestants. When you said that guy's last name a while ago was Barker, it made me think of Bob Barker. I saw this AI generated video the other day where it was Bob Barker was still doing Prices Right, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was on there, and they started fist fighting. That shit was hilarious.
Oh yeah, the AI things.
Yeah, that stuff's getting way out of control.
I don't like when they use people's likenesses without their permission and make these weird AI stuff like the Bob Ross stuff. I don't like it. Now, if you're making AI of a cat playing a fiddle on the porch, that I'm fine with because you're not really using anybody else's notoriety or image. But making AI videos with famous people or anybody against their will, I don't care for that at all.
I saw one that it's AI, but it was questionable at first, but it was this guy sitting on the John. And all of a sudden, he's got he's got a back window right behind him, and he's sitting there doing his business. And here comes a deer flying through the window, and then right behind the deer was a big ass brown bear.
Yeah, it's AI, but and people like the other day, I called out one of the videos online. It was about a flooring. These people were putting together live edge flooring. And I was like, wow, if this was actually real, that'd be really hard to clean out those grooves. And so I was like, why wouldn't it be real? It's real. Why would someone bother to make an AI video about floors? Because it's got 600,000 views. That's why. Because they can make any kind of weird video people want to watch and think it might be real. They love that shit. Like the ones now you see a lot where, a tiger's attacking a baby gorilla and a big gorilla runs over and grabs the tiger and lifts him up and shakes him and tosses him. Those are all fucking fake. Mm-hmm. So they do it because it gets views and idiots like you think it's real. That's why they do it. And I hate to break it to that lady. I was like, for one, they do it because it gets views. And two, if you think you're actually going to put trees that have been cut into sections, round sections that they put together as floor, and it lined up perfectly. Every little nook and was filled. And I was like, live edge pieces don't line up perfectly like that.
No, they don't.
It's just not going to happen. So
no, I'm a woodworker, so I know.
Yeah. So all right, let's do the drawing here. Let me generate the number. And the winner is, and I don't know who this is, William Curlew. I don't know who that is. But William Curlew is the winner.
Congratulations, William Curlew.
Huh?
I was just saying congratulations.
Oh, I don't know who that is, though. Let me see if I can get a hint from their email address if I look them up over here.
I hope you enjoy those grips, you lucky bastard. No, I'm showing you. Those are nice, so I hope you enjoy them.
I think they're my favorite ones I've made so far. I mean, I like the Marvin ones too, but I think the Yosemite Sam, he pops on the grip a lot. You know, he just really stands out.
Yep.
William Curlew. Let's see if I can find his email and tell me if that gives me any hints as to who he is. He lives in Connecticut.
The name sounds familiar.
Where's his email address? I'm not going to read it out loud or anything, but I want to. But no, because his email address is just basically his name abbreviated. So I have no idea who that is. But William Curlew, you are the winner, so let me know. Now I want to go over here and see if we did not get enough for a knife drawing tonight. I can see that right now. So not going to worry about a knife drawing right now, but I want to say thanks to everybody for coming in. I appreciate it. Your names will transfer over to tomorrow for a knife drawing. Anybody got anything else to say before we go?
No, not really. Just stay safe because it's getting crazy.
I'll take that
as always. Yeah,
stay home until after Christmas. That's what my advice to everybody is. Advice I'm going to follow. Stay home till after Christmas. I might go out once to go to the gun shop, but other than that, I'm just going to stay home till after Christmas.
No, I'll send you a email, Yankee, with my address here in a minute, like you asked me to.
Okay. All right. So thanks everybody for coming. Thanks everybody for participating in Toy Guns for Tots. You got one more day. The new grips will be up in a little bit. Let me share just me here real quick. There'll be these. There'll be I think these are Cocobolo, and they got the Bigfoot on them. These are for high power. So
they look good.
I think they will look good when they're done. But thanks everybody. If you want to go over, I should have those on the website here in a little bit. Otherwise, I will see everybody tomorrow, and thanks for everything you've done for the channel. And you got one more day to do Toy Guns for Tots, and then we'll start on the Fur Friends Animal Rescue, which I do not look forward to doing. But thanks everybody for coming. I will see you all tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe till I see you again. Everybody wave goodbye.
Bye.
I am a grown-ass man.